Thank you for joining me today for Module 3 in the Stress Management Learning Series. This module will review the physical responses to stress. The physiological responses to stress can affect all body systems. The nervous system. When the body is stressed, the nervous system generates what is known as the fight or flight response. The body shifts all of its energy resources towards either fighting off a threat or fleeing from an enemy. The musculoskeletal system. Tight muscles cause tension in the jaw, headaches, eye twitches, and back or neck pain. The respiratory system. Breathing quickens. Some stress states create hyperventilation, which is rapid breathing, but only shallow respiration. The cardiovascular system. Stress can cause your heart rate to elevate. The endocrine system. Cortisol is released into the body to prepare to fight the perceived threat or stressor. The gastrointestinal system. When digestion is slowed during stressful periods, unpleasant side effects such as bloating, gas, and general GI distress can occur. The fight or flight response. The physiological changes that occur during this process is called the fight or flight response. It is beneficial to prepare the body for a quick reaction, to increase strength and speed to either fight or run from the real or perceived threat. The immediate physiological changes in the body include an increased heart rate, blood pressure, and respiration as the blood flows more rapidly to prepare the heart for the additional cardiovascular exertion needed. So what happens in the body when we are stressed? A threat occurs, which is considered by the body to be an attack, harmful event, or threat to survival. The brain processes the signals beginning in the part of the brain called the amygdala, and then the hypothalamus. The pituitary gland in the brain secretes adrenocorticotropic hormone, or ACTH for short. Cortisol and adrenaline are then released. Physical effects that are set into motion are an increase in heart rate, bladder relaxation, tunnel vision, shaking, dilated pupils, face flushing, dry mouth, slow digestion, and hearing loss. Stress and the endocrine system. Stress signals from the hypothalamus cause the adrenal glands, which cap the kidneys, to produce cortisol and epinephrine, more commonly known as adrenaline. More specifically, the adrenal cortex produces cortisol and the adrenal medulla produces epinephrine or adrenaline. This starts the process that gives your body the energy to run from danger. When cortisol and adrenaline are released, the liver produces more glucose or blood sugar to give you a surge in your blood sugar to provide energy for the fight or flight response. For most of you, if you don't use all of that extra energy, the body is able to reabsorb the blood sugar, even if you're stressed again and again. But for some people, that additional blood sugar can lead to an increased risk of developing diabetes over time. An interesting point to note is that studies show that if you learn how to manage stress, you can control your blood sugar level, sometimes nearly as much as with medication. Stress, waist circumference, and visceral fat. The waist circumference measurement is important because it reflects the amount of visceral fat stored around your waistline. To determine your waist circumference, use a tape measure and measure around the smallest area of your abdomen, below your rib cage, and above your belly button. A high-risk waist circumference is a man with a waist measurement over 40 inches, or a woman with a waist measurement over 35 inches. When your stress and cortisol levels are high, the body actually resists weight loss. Your body shifts to starvation mode, and it hoards the fat you eat or have present on your body already. Cortisol tends to take fat from healthier areas and move it to your abdomen, which has more cortisol receptors. In the process, it turns once healthy peripheral fat into unhealthy visceral fat. Visceral or deep fat wraps around the inner organs and is metabolically active. Visceral fat drives up your risk for diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and even dementia. Visceral fat is thought to play a larger role in insulin resistance, which boosts the risk of diabetes. One way to decrease your visceral fat is to decrease your stress level or learn ways to manage and cope with stress more effectively, which we will discuss in the following modules of the Stress Management Learning Series. The cycle of stress begins with what we have referred to as a real or perceived threat called a stressor. Depending on how this stressor is managed determines the impact on the body. Understanding the process our bodies go through can help to anticipate the stress and learn to respond rather than react. Depending on what the perceived stressor is, this sequence of events will naturally take place. If it is not kept in check, it could result in reduced optimal health, increased sensitivity to stress, and make us more susceptible to stress in the future. Recognizing the early warning signs may help to become better prepared. Perhaps take a break, ask for help, recognize if other options are available, and if not, think about how long the stress will likely last before it can be relieved, reminding you that the situation is temporary. This concludes Module 3 in the Stress Management Learning Series. Next, in Module 4, we will discuss chronic stress. Thank you for joining me today.